OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Brian Hayes, Jamie Noodles, McLennan, our buddy Marty Baron will join us here in just a few moments. Game 6 tonight, Leafs-Panthers. We've got the Jays and the Tigers. I'm seeing video from down at the park. Obviously, the Dome is open. It is a beautiful day. Beautiful day, beautiful evening. It's warm. It's sunny, blue skies. I'm going down tomorrow. Doogie jumped on and said, sorry, it's going to be 100% rain tomorrow. So no Dome for you. But then I looked up at the app, and I'm like, Doogie, you're so off base. He's wrong. I mean, now what I'm seeing, it's going to be okay tomorrow.
Are you sure? Because I'm seeing rain,
I'm seeing a bunch of different things. Like someone tweeted in so happy. They're like, no, really bad rain and wind gusts. Sorry about that. Like, what, you want to ruin the day for me and everyone else?
Yeah, like happy that it's
Why are you happy
ruined,
it's bad weather?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like, it's crazy. Guy immediately tweeting in, nope, sorry, wind gusts and raining. Okay, well, then maybe the Dome will be closed. But we'll still have a good time.
Yeah,
Jays
exactly.
Tigers tomorrow. And, it's they're doing the rivalry weekend. You know, that's why again the Yankees are playing the Sox or Yankees are playing the Mets, and there's a lot of big rivalries. And it's interesting that the Jays get the Tigers because, like, when I grew up, that was a big rivalry.
Right.
And obviously the geography, it's 4 hours away, 4.5 hours away, but it kind of speaks to, like, the Yankees have the Mets, the Yankees have the Red Sox. I think in recent years I would think of the Rangers, but maybe that's 10 years ago now. I mean, the bat flip was 10 years ago. Like, that's a long time ago.
It was 10 years ago?
10 years ago. Yeah, it was in October of 15.
Wow.
So it was a long
That's
long
crazy.
time ago.
That was 10 years ago. Because we all, it is weird. Like, you remember where you were, right? Like, that was, I remember where I was. Like,
so do I. I remember where I was. Yeah, I mean, we were all in the building, but we were all scattered in different spots.
Yeah.
And that was 10 years ago. You think of the 16 wild card and the battles with the Orioles, and that was 9 years ago. So I don't know where that currently stands, but I don't know. I don't know who the Jays' number one rival would be right now. You might look at the Yankees or the Red Sox. I just don't think it's a two-way street.
Right.
I don't think Yankee fans look at the Jays clearly the same way they look at the Mets or look at the Red Sox. But
it's not like Seattle for beating them out, with that comeback and all that.
Yeah, it's just not in the same division, different ends of the continent. You play twice a year, home and away. I don't know. It's a good question. It's the same thing with the Raptors. Like, I've often wondered that, it's at times it's been Brooklyn, at times maybe it's been Philly.
I was going to say, is it Philly because of Nurse? Or
possibly.
Not really?
Yeah, possibly. And prior to that, them playing a lot and Embiid and, when Jimmy Butler was there. But even that 6 years ago, the Raps went on that run 6 years ago.
Wow.
Man, it was just the anniversary of the shot against Philly 3 or 4 days ago when Kawhi hit that shot. 6 years ago.
Crazy.
It is crazy. And that's the thing about, with the Leafs and the Core Four and, we'll talk about it when it's time to talk about it because they're still playing. They got a game tonight.
Right.
They might have a game on Sunday. Then they may be into the next round. Anything is possible here. But these guys have been, Matthews, Marner, Delander, they've been here 9 years is a long time in pro sports, man. To commit to those players and just be like, we're sticking with you through thick and thin. Yeah. For 9 years, that's a long time. That's a lot of commitment on both sides.
It is.
And
it is.
That could be on the line tonight, right?
Well, I think it is on the line. Let's be honest. If they lose tonight, I think everything's on the table. I mean, and it's not even on the table from the Maple Leafs standpoint. It's Mitch Marner's a free agent come July 1st. John Tavares is a free agent come July 1st. Then you start to look at, who's expendable, all of that type of stuff. I think everything's on the table, at the end of the season here, regardless, win, lose, draw, you name it. It's just there's a lot of decisions to be made.
Yep, things change. Even the best teams in the league change. Florida won the Cup last year. Guys left. A lot of guys left. That's what happens.
Exactly.
All right, so we got Game 6 tonight, 8 p.m. puck drop. And a guy that'll be doing panel work this evening joins us now. Here's our main man, Marty Baron. Yes, Marty.
Hey,
what is happening?
Where are you guys? I'm coming in. It's going to be fun in studio. Boom.
We're cruising around.
I'll tell you this. It took me 3 hours and 45 minutes from Buffalo to Toronto to the studios. Usually it's about 2. So the traffic is insane. Luckily, you don't have to deal with it today.
Yes. Well, long weekend and you get weather like this. Like, it is such a different city. I'm sure Buffalo's the same way.
And there's cows on the highway right now, too.
Buffalo, literally, if you're stuck in traffic for 10 minutes, that's big. Like here, it took me an hour to go like 15 kilometers. That's how bad it was.
It's sickening.
Yeah.
It is sickening. There's so many people. And the weather, the long weekend, people are moving. You know, and again, a lot of it is for like 4 or 5 months, you're just stuck inside and you're like, you have no will to leave. And now it's beautiful. And you're like, I got to get out. I got to go somewhere. And unfortunately, it's when you were trying to move through the city, but you made it.
I made it, and I was entertained by you guys and by, your little trying to put a docu-series together.
Yes.
If the Leafs come back. O-Dog was talking about it as we were taping for the for SportsCenter, so I think you guys are onto something.
Yes, well, maybe you can help us fund it, Marty. You got a lot of money. If you want to pitch in, man, you can get a percentage of this. Well, where's?
I think I may not be able to go back to Buffalo if I fund a docu-series on the Leafs. Like they won't let me back at the Peace Bridge.
I wouldn't blame them either. Yeah, that would be a tough explanation. I am a big contributor into a puff piece for the Leafs when they finally get to the conference final.
Yeah.
You know, that one is kind of tough to sell. But let's talk about the goaltending here.
Yes.
We've been waiting for you to get into this because we've been talking a lot about the core four and all that. Joseph Woll had a great game 4. Other than that, you know, he's been at best, what would you say, okay, just okay? Like, where's your head at with Woll? Because it was an overlooked story in Game 5 because it was about everything else. Meanwhile, he gave up a couple bad goals and got pulled.
Didn't play well.
He didn't play well. So what is your level of concern or expectation for him this season?
I'm not concerned. I'm pretty comfortable. I think in Game 2 he was excellent. He hadn't played in a while. Comes in, plays Game 2. I think it was fantastic. They win. In Game 3, couple of bad bounce. The Marchand, overtime goal goes off Riley. Riley puts one in. The first goal on Barkov's goal. Look, that's going to happen. I think he was excellent in Game 4. In Game 5, the first period, if it's not for Joe Woll, they're probably down 3-0.
Yep.
And then, he gave up a terrible goal to Mikkola, right? I mean, it's a bad look. But that made it 4-0. Anybody believe that the Leafs were going to come back when they were down 3-0? No. The Leafs were not playing good at all. That game was over. So whatever happened after the Boquist goal, I have no issues. I mean, he wasn't good, but I'm not concerned. But Joe Woll is not going to go in and win you a game, I don't think, in Florida. But he's also not going to lose you a game. He hasn't lost you any games so far, and he's not going to lose you Game 6. Anyway, I don't anticipate him to play in a way that's going to lose you the game. So you got to find a way to win it somewhere else. And that somewhere else, well, it goes back to Matthews, it goes back to Marner, it goes back to the power play, it goes back to helping him out in the first period. They had 4 shots in the first period in Game 4 and 6 in Game 5. How, as a goalie, and Noodles, I don't know if you ever did, but I looked at the shot clock a lot. Maybe it was to help my confidence. Yeah, I made 12 saves. Like, that was good. But if I see my team with 2 or 3 shots 15 minutes into the first period, I'm like, come on, guys, like, do something. Like, that has to change, and I think that's going to help Joe Woll if they show up in the first period.
So, Marty, what do you see in Bob? As I think Bob's gotten stronger as the series has gone on. What are you seeing in him?
I think he's aggressive, and we've seen the poke check. He's got the athleticism to back it up. If he misses the poke check, he'll be able to recover. And you're right. Like, what I saw in Bob in the Tampa series was, he was average. He was okay. I didn't think Vasilevsky was great in the losses, and I didn't think Bob needed to be spectacular. The last 2 games, Bob was spectacular, and that is the biggest difference why now Florida's up 3-2. And we saw what the Leafs were trying to do early in the first 2 games. High shot, screens. Bobrovsky likes to go low. Noodles, like when there's a screen, you can do 2 things. Henrik Lundqvist used to always try to look high, try to look above the screen. Bobrovsky likes to go low. Get some screen and get some high shots. That's how Marner scored the game-winning goal. What was it, Game 2? Like, it was a bad goal, but it's because he couldn't track it because he likes to go low.
Well, I'm curious, if the game plan on a goalie can get to a point where, he compensates, and then if the other team doesn't realize he's compensating, then all of a sudden it turns into an advantage for the goalie. And what I mean by that is you mentioned, shooting high on him, and early in the series they were going glove hand and trying to go bar down consistently. And then the other night, I think it was game 4, Matthews had an opportunity to get a puck off quick. And he stopped, and he tried to pick his spot, and he tried to pick the corner, and Bob just had his glove waiting for it. And basically, to me, I read it like Bob knew what he was trying to do. It was like Bob saying, I know what your game plan is, and I know you've exposed me, but I'm not going to allow you to do it anymore. Do you think the Leafs can continue to try to expose what they thought was available to them the first 2 or 3 games, or do they have to adjust on Bob here?
No, I think they have to continue to expose that. But when you explain the Matthews, play in game 4, you're right. It was a great glove save by Bobrovsky. But Matthews, the fact that he stopped, wait, and then shot too late. Bobrovsky's going to read it. Bobrovsky's going to be positioned. Remember the movie Bull Durham when they say, don't think, just throw. Like, that's what the Leafs have to do. Every time they stop the puck, they give Bob the time to be able to get in a position and see it clearly. At times, you got to just let it rep. And look, maybe you're going to hit him in the chest a couple of times, but you're going to get that look when you are not going to think, and it's going to be in the net. I think of what Dallas has been able to do against Connor Hellebuyck. Look at Granlund. He gets the hat trick. He's not even looking at the net. He's not thinking. He's just shooting right away, and that made a difference. So I think that's the biggest thing. If you're Matthews and you stop the puck, you're not going to score. If you let it go right away, now things are going to open up.
With Marty Baron. So, you look at last night, Hellebuyck, he played really well. Like didn't stand on his head necessarily. It wasn't like they threw 50, 60 shots at him, but he did everything he was supposed to and played really, really well. Noodles, you referenced it early on. Ottinger was on his game, and then all of a sudden it got a little bit leaky. He ends up, giving up a few last night.
Yeah.
But that goaltending battle now going on the road, when you consider Hellebuyck's history on the road, these playoffs alone, it's been crazy. He can't win. He can't perform. Do you think there's anything he can take from his performance at home last night and apply it on the road, or is this a completely blank slate because clearly the road splits are so substantial?
I actually think Connor Hellebuyck can take a lot of what he did in Game 3 and 4 in Dallas. I thought Game 3, he was really good. It's 2-2. There's a goal that went in that should never have counted. That was a kick. That was not a propelling of the puck into the net. Like, that rule book is there for a reason, and the league missed on it. And then a minute later, Rantanen walked in, and he's like, hey, you're going to let me walk in? I'll pick a corner. I actually thought Connor Hellebuyck was pretty good up until that point, and then the wheels fell off for the whole team. And in Game 4, he was pretty good too. Look, it was 2-1, and Ottinger was much better, but it's not like Hellebuyck was bad. And so I think you got to look at it and say, St. Louis was one thing. He got pulled in 3 straight road games, and he was really bad on the road. But against the Dallas Stars, he's not shown me that he has been bad. Has he been as good as Ottinger in those 2 games in Dallas? No. But I think he can build off of that. And the shutout last game was probably the step for him to say, hey, now I'm going to go in Dallas, and I'm going to show them that I can do it on the road. So I'm still hopeful for the Winnipeg Jets and Connor Hellebuyck that they can bring that back to Winnipeg for Game 7.
Sticking with goaltenders, what did you make of the comeback of Stuart Skinner? I mean, considering where he was, and Pickard comes in the injury, and then his last couple games, even McDavid getting chippy about it in the media. Like, what do you make of that whole situation?
Well, I think the Oilers love him, right? They love him. He's a great teammate. He's been there, took him to the finals last year, Game 7, everything. And he's battled through adversity in the last few years. And, some bad performances early in the season has come back. And the team really likes to play for him, but he's got to make saves. And he's made, obviously, all the saves in the last 2 games. But even in Game 3 when he came in and lost that one, I felt, okay, well, he played good enough to say he gave his team a chance to win. So for me, that's one. And Noodles, I tell goalies this all the time. You're going to get an opportunity. When you get to that level, you play college, juniors, you're pro, you're going to get an opportunity. You have to be ready for that opportunity. And Coach Knobloch said, we're going to need Suey at some point in this series, maybe the next. And I think that Stuart Skinner was working extremely hard in practice, getting his game where he wanted it to be, so that if he had that opportunity, he was ready for it. And you got to really give him credit for being ready and making a difference. And now, Calvin Pickard is not going to be ready for round 3 for the conference finals. So to me, it looks like it's Stuart Skinner for the long run here, because Pickard is dealing with an injury that I think is going to take him longer to recover. So I think Skinner really showed a lot of people what hard work can do. And if it was regular season, we wouldn't worry about it. He, didn't play for 3 or 4 games. He's going to work on his game and come back, but it's the playoffs, so it's a little bit more important at that point.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like, when you consider Pickard somewhat mysteriously leaves when he's on a heater, and now he's hurt. And I think we know what happened. I know, but they're not announcing anything.
Well, the crazy thing, though, Brian, sorry to interrupt, is nobody's talking about that. He got run into by Hurdle,
Yep.
and I think he hurt his knee, and like that's not a 3-day thing like that. If that could be weeks. Who knows?
Well, Noodles, you saw him how he got up. He couldn't even get up, and I'm surprised he finished the game. I mean, that's the thing. And obviously, the next day, maybe there's some swelling and all of that. You look into it. I don't think this is going to be like a 10-day. Like, you're not on the sideline for 10 days. I think it's longer than that.
Yeah, and that's wild. And then when you consider Anthony Stolarz, the same thing. Like, Stolarz, halfway through game 1, they're in the lead. Everything's amazing, and he's just gone. And that conversation just doesn't even happen anymore. I don't believe he even took the trip.
He didn't.
Down to Florida. No. So it's like this guy, he's not even close.
And I know in Toronto people are pointing the finger at Sam Bennett in the collision, but I'll tell you this, and I've been in that position, that shot by Reinhart earlier in that game 1, that set the wheels in motion. I think that he was already a little dinged up by taking that one right in the bullseye. The mask came up, and if you look at his face after, there was a little bit of Tweety birds that were flying around him, and then he got hit by Bennett, and that was the end of it.
Yeah, that was a bull. That doesn't happen much. You like a slap shot. Famous one, Wendell Clark on Curtis Joseph. Remember we knocked his...
Yeah.
And Cujo was rattled. Like, he went for a skate and was like, whoa. Like, that was a bomb.
I remember getting a Zdeno Chara shot right in the forehead. And it was like the Mighty Ducks, when they have that camera on the puck?
Yeah.
It felt like this, like everybody's in the way, and then everybody parted away, and the puck came in, hit me right in the forehead. It split my mask. Like, the paint job has a clear coat on it, and it was like a spider web of cracks through the clear coating. That's how hard Zdeno Chara hit me. But, again, I say this, and Noodles, I don't know how your masks were, but I always thought the biggest thing when it came to mask was the fit. Make sure it fits properly, it's snug, it's tight. And look, we can talk about it, but I look at Anthony Stolarz all season. I don't like the fit of his mask. It reminds me a lot of Mike Smith early in his career when he was with Tampa. It looks like it doesn't fit, like it's too small. The back plate is far back. Like, there's something there that you have to consider moving forward.
Wow, you remember Dwayne Rollison's mask? Like, he had that pro mask. It looked like Spy vs. Spy. It was like it was like a cone. It was so weird. It was like some of these. And Brian, I know we're getting goalie nerd here, but these masks, like, you have to be able to withstand a 100-mile-an-hour slap shot.
Right.
Like, you can get hit in the button. You're right. I think he was buzzed earlier on the Reinhart shot. It hit him right on the button. I got knocked out one time. Same thing. Got hit on the button and puked and all of that stuff. But it is the mask, the way it fits, because most of these masks aren't supposed to absorb a straight-on shot. They're supposed to deflect off, and the fit is so important. And it just, if you got a big head, you got to get a big mask, and some of these guys now are 6'6" and 6'7", like giant buckets on.
Right?
Yeah.
Like goalies, I'm sure, no different than players. Like, players have a comfort. They want the elbow pads they've had since they were 15. They want, there's certain things, and like, you got to adjust. Yeah. But anyway, we'll see. What are you thinking for tonight, Marty? Like, would you be surprised if the Leafs found a way to win? How would you
I wouldn't be surprised. I like the way that I'm writing the story is the Leafs are going to win Game 6, and then they're going to come back home for Game 7, and the pressure and the intensity is going to be just times 100, right? I mean, a Game 7 at home against the defending champs. So that's the way I'm writing the story. I don't know what would happen in Game 7. I think Florida's a better team.
Yep.
They got more experience. But I think the Leafs get it done in Game 6, and we're going to have something to do on Sunday night, and it's going to be in this beautiful, holiday weekend in Canada. It's going to be a Game 7 Sunday night in Toronto.
I love it. Can't wait for that. Traffic will be amazing for that one to get down on Sunday.
A lot of people are going to cut their trip short to the cottage.
They
for sure.
will, 100%.
Yep.
All right, Marty, we'll catch you on the panel tonight. Thanks for doing this, buddy.
Awesome, guys. Have a good one.
You too. There he is. Marty Baron joining us here, our TSN Hockey analyst, ahead of Game 6 tonight, Leafs-Panthers. Dear Hayesy-B still to come, and obviously we're tracking the PGA Championship, and last time I checked, your boy Jonathan Vegas was still in the lead. He's in the clubhouse. He's finished today, so he's at 8 under. But Fitzpatrick at 6, Home at 5, Scheffler now at 5 under. That is concerning for everyone else.
Yes.
And your boy Siwoo Kim is at 5 under.
Really?
Yeah, Siwoo's Ope picked him and then realized he meant Minwoo Lee.
Yeah, exactly.
So when Siwoo Kim wins this thing, I can't wait to see his head explode.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll claim that that's what he actually picked and that's who he wanted. But yeah, Scheffler's red hot right now.
Well, there's some names though that I don't recognize. Ryan Fox and Alex Smalley.
These aren't great players. Fox won in Myrtle Beach last week in a playoff. He's a good player, but yeah, like Matthew Pavon, thank you, but step aside. Coverage of the PGA Championship on OverDrive brought to you by Subaru. Hurry to the all-in-one event for great offers and experience all the features that come standard in a Subaru. All right, we'll get to our best bets later in the hour. Dear Hayesy-B coming up, and we're charging towards an 8 p.m. puck drop this evening. Leafs-Panthers, the only show in town. Nothing else in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2. All right, Mail It In Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. This playoff season, Boston Pizza's planning the parade and has a new all-star playoff menu for you to enjoy. For pizza, pints, and puck drops, visit your local Boston Pizza today. All right, Dear Hayesy-B here in a few moments. Best bets later in the hour. Bill Belichick is still doing the rounds.
Yeah.
Your favorite, your boy, Bill Belichick.
It's just getting weirder and weirder, too.
He's got the book out, and this is what is wild, is that he's now, you know it, you're an author, you've written books, you have an obligation to promote them.
Yes.
You do. You have an obligation to do interviews, and this guy just wants to go into a shell somewhere and not talk to anybody for about 3 or 4 months.
Exactly.
Right? That's what he wants to do. Just be down in Carolina, maybe up in Massachusetts. I don't know where he wants to be, but it's not on Good Morning America in New York with Michael Strahan.
I know. It's ridiculous.
But he is, because he's got to plug the book. And I've noticed, and we'll play this clip in a moment, famously after wins or losses, in his New England days, it was always, we're moving on to Cincinnati. We're moving on to Cincinnati. He has created a new version of we're moving on to Cincinnati when it comes to his love life and his relationship with his girlfriend.
Yes.
So here's a little back and forth. Strahan, Belichick on Good Morning America.
So what did Jordan mean to you?
Well, we have a good personal relationship. And, I'm not talking about personal relationships, Michael. You know that.
Okay, I know that, Coach. But I'm saying, are you happy?
Yeah.
You look happy.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd see you doing yoga. Only happy people do yoga, Coach.
So uncomfortable.
It's awkward.
But his good personal relationship. And I'm not going to talk about personal relationships.
So they've warned Strahan, don't even go there or he'll get up and walk out or whatever. And Strahan just went there a little bit, just saying you look happy. And he's looked so uncomfortable even saying that.
Yes. And listen, Belichick knows and everyone knows, again, this is the complication of plugging a book.
Right.
You need Good Morning America to help you plug your book. You can't go in there and be like, I'm not talking about, because they may just say, fine, you're out of here.
Yeah,
and we're not going to talk about your book, and then your book sales are not going anywhere. It's a weird kind of relationship that you have to have if you're plugging something. Right. So Belichick's got to go in. I don't think he can tell them or dictate what he is willing to get into, but he can give the answer he just gave. I'm not going to get into it. And yet Strahan, it's awkward for him because he's not like a seasoned interviewer. He's a football guy.
Right.
And yet, his producers are like, you got to ask him something. You got to get into it. You got to try to get a response. Because nobody cares about the book.
Well,
no one cares about North Carolina football. Nobody.
Yes.
It's a TMZ story now. It's not a football story with Bill Belichick.
It's so weird, though. Like, I'm not going to read the book because the book doesn't talk about Bobby Kraft. It sounds like it doesn't go behind the scenes that much. So why would you read it? Like, if it was a tell-all book, it would be on the New York Times bestseller. Like, people would be like, I want to hear what, how you handled Aaron Hernandez, like all of these things, type of things. But that's not the case. Like, it just, what was Gronk really like? What was Brady? Or, what was the guy? Alex, his sideline.
Guerrero, yeah.
How did you deal with Guerrero?
Like,
just that's what I want to know. With Deflategate, was there any truth to it?
And your personal life.
Yeah.
Like if it's we don't know anything about Bill Belichick, the person. He's famous.
Right.
He's been famous for 30 years, more than that.
Yeah.
Like, because that would be the ultimate bookseller. If the last chapter was his recent, relationship with Jordan Hudson, that's going to sell 1 million books.
Exactly.
In a week. If this is a tell-all, and in the last chapter you're going to want to read this one because this is about how we met, what we're up to, the whole story about me with no shirt on, walking around disheveled. I got it all in here. That's a book. No one wants to hear inspirational quotes from Bill Belichick.
And if he was self-deprecating too, like, hey, I got busted on a Ring camera. That was the first time we hooked up, or like it's not like I see quotes coming out. It's just like it's vanilla. Like it's him, hey, like I'm a motivator, all of that.
Right.
Like, listen, he's a
great
great
coach.
coach.
Hard in the video room. It's like we know Bill. Thank you.
I know. I wish there was more.
And there might be more. To be fair, I haven't read the book. There could be more, but that's not how it's being expressed, right? That's not how it's being described. It's being described as his view of football and how great it is and inspirational and why it's a great life and why football is important. Okay, there's some value in that, but really, I want to hear what you just detailed, like only a handful of things.
Exactly.
There's 50 stories I want to hear, like the first-hand details from Bill Belichick. Not going to happen. And again, every interview, because I'm sure Strahan asked him about the book. We're not playing that.
Right.
We're playing the stuff about his girlfriend. Like that. That's what people are talking about. All right. We got our best bets coming up. You ready? It's 6:30 on a Friday, long weekend. A lot of people waiting for this. Dear Hayesy-B, let's go.
People send in a tweet. They write us for our professional advice on life things. Dear Hayesy-B, every morning my boiler has a gas leak. My wife thinks it's the baby.
Dear Hayesy-B.
If you want to come to Hayesy-B, I need honesty from you.
Hazy, you got dumped a lot. Tell him.
Grown adults with birthdays, it's asinine.
All right, Dear Hayesy-B, powered by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. This playoff season, Boston Pizza is planning the parade and has a new all-star playoff menu for you to enjoy. For pizza, pints, and puck drops, visit your local Boston Pizza today. What a night for Boston Pizza.
Yes.
Friday night is Boston Pizza night. I know for you, Noodles. I think for a lot of people. And it is a textbook play for the game tonight where, like, I went to a restaurant or bar. I can't remember which game it was. For the first period, we had something. I had to run in. I can't even remember the detail of it, but I couldn't believe, like I could, but I'm either down at the rink, for these games, or I'm at home, like watching and preparing for the show and sports centers afterwards and all that.
Yeah.
And this place was so busy, so packed, Leaf fans going nuts, and I still expect that to be the case tonight. I think it'll be a great night for Boston pizzas and restaurants and bars and patios. It's going to be awesome. But it's also a long weekend, right? It's also a long weekend, and we got one here from Derek, sending in an email saying, all right, Dear Hayesy-B, I'm going up to the cottage for the long weekend and was talking with my coworkers about my plans with my wife and kids, and my boss overheard the entire conversation and implied that he would be happy to have an invite up north. Now, to strengthen our bond outside of work. I'm not sure if I want him to see my other side outside of work, though. How do I politely push off plans, or do you guys suggest I just pull the trigger on this and think career first this long weekend?
I don't know. I mean, it's tough. Like you could just say another time, like, hey, you know what? I've got family coming up. Love to have you. Like, I would kick the can down the road. I would do. Like, I'm not an advocate of lying, but you could tell a little bit of a fib or something.
Fib,
so just say like, hey, I would love to have you, but you know what? We got a full house, don't have any spots for you type of thing. But let's lock it in, like kick it down the road. Like, yeah,
Yes.
for sure. Like, 2 weeks from now, a month from now, let's make it happen. Like, tell them that you're excited to do that. You would love to do it, but man, this weekend just doesn't fit because of X, Y, and Z. That's what I would do.
100%. 100% agree. I think it's a great play, even though it might be uncomfortable. Here's another thing you don't want to do. It's a big weekend, long weekend. This is spontaneous. You can't go in there blind, being like, I don't know what's going on here. How do we have everything set up? A lot of people are just
Right.
opening cottages up this weekend. For a lot of people, it's a work weekend in a way.
Yeah.
You get up there, you open everything up. Maybe you get kayaks out and boats out and floats.
Yeah.
You're mowing the lawn. There's a lot of things going on. This is not the weekend for entertaining, a boss. What you want to do is you want to take advantage of this. You want to make sure he's not being sarcastic. You want to take advantage. You want to lock it in, but you want to be able to set up the weekend, right? You want to think about the plan. You want to figure out exactly how you're going to do it. Again, maybe he's a golfer or something like that. You can bring the sticks up. Probably not pulling that off. You got the wife, the kids, and other people up there. So this is one you take advantage of the opportunity, and in a way, himself inviting himself, which is a little bit greasy.
Yeah.
But you make sure you detail a plan, you lock it in, but you do it, to your point, a month from now, a month and a half, 2 months from now. That's when you think career first. Cannot happen this weekend.
Yeah, no, I think you kick it down the road. Kick the can down the road and then make it happen, but on your terms, when you're comfortable and when you can actually make a positive impression on him.
Yeah,
as well.
and that's an awkward weekend. I mean, I can't recall myself being in a situation like that, but it's a whole different world when you start bringing, people from work into, that kind of scenario where it's like, okay, who's sleeping where? What's the deal? What are we doing at night? What's going on in the morning? Are you bringing stuff up?
Yeah.
Everyone's got a different thing going on.
Different routines, too. You have
Different
no idea what
routines.
this guy's got a stretching routine in the
Right.
morning. Or it's
He's got
in
his
underpants.
CPAP machine up there. He's like, where can I plug this in? You're like, are you kidding me?
Who knows?
What do we do? Oh, I'm allergic to, fires, so we can't do that. And, s'mores?
exactly.
I don't like s'mores. Like, all right, I guess we won't do that then.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
moving on here. Dear Hayesy-B, in Nashville this weekend for a bachelor party. I have the passion. I'm a diehard Leaf fan, but the groom is from Ottawa and is not a hockey guy whatsoever, so does not have any interest in watching Game 6, Leafs-Panthers tonight. What is the play here? Do I sweat out Game 6 by getting updates through my phone, or should I pull a ninja dust here and disappear for a few hours to catch the game before meeting back up with the boys afterwards? P.S. We'll be in the same situation Sunday if it gets there. We're doing the full long weekend at Nash.
Well, there's places there. They can go to the stage and other places that actually have TVs on in the background. And you can
They have a Leaf game on there in Nashville?
But what you can do is if you go to right across from Legends is a place and they've got multiple TVs.
Okay.
You take $20 or $50 and you slide that to the bartender and go, can you put the hockey game on that one?
Mm-hmm.
Can you put it? Because it'll be on, I'm not sure, is it ESPN or TNT? One of the two.
One of the two. Yeah, it's on a big program down there
Exactly.
in the States.
Put it on that one and keep it there. And then you enjoy yourself, and it's right over your left shoulder, and you can keep an eye on the game while enjoying time and enjoying live music and booze with the boys, because the game will be, well, it's 8 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock in Nashville. Mm-hmm. So from 7 to 9:30, you guys could be sitting in
perfect
at a bar. So I think you get creative with that, because all these bars do have TVs and monitors and all that. And just say, put it on there. It might cost you a few bucks. You might have to handshake somebody or go call for the manager. And you could tell your buddy, hey, I'd like that. I asked for it on in the background, but not going to change the way that I'm going to party it up here, drinking and enjoying myself.
I think that's the perfect way to do it. I think Game 7 will be totally different because, A, it's Game 7. B, that'll be night 3 in Nashville. You'll be dying to get out for a few hours. So Game 7, if it gets there, you don't even need to ask. You know what you're doing. You're leaving.
Right.
You're going back to the hotel, and you're saying, I'm going to just chill here. I'll meet you up afterwards if anyone's still running wild, which can't happen and would have happened if I was still in my 20s or 30s. I couldn't imagine doing a 3-night banger in Nashville right now. No chance.
Right.
But night 1 is also night one of a back.
Yeah.
Like you're not leaving to go watch the Leaf game.
No, you're full on.
You're full on because there's a chance by the time you get back, your buddies are in Memphis.
Yes.
You know, like they're
One
not
of them's
even
in a full Nelson with a bouncer in the corner.
exactly. Like
you know,
you escape on night one in Nashville for 3 hours. You may as well go home.
Yeah, exactly. You're
so
gone.
you have to stay with the crew. You've got to be a part of the whole rhythm because that's how you build bonds. That's how you get great stories and
Yeah,
you know this
I agree.
happened and that and all you can do is hope that the game's on in the background. You know, I don't think of Nashville, especially Broadway, as a TV. I don't remember even looking at a TV when I was there. I mean, it was
but
just country bands and parties.
There is TVs there. I'm telling
Sure,
you. Like,
I'll
you just
take
gotta,
your word for it.
Well, I've watched. Like I've actually a lot of times they'll have sports, college sports on and stuff like that.
Okay.
It'll be on there somewhere. You just have to you can show up at like Jason Aldean's or Kid Rock's bar or all of these bars. Like they're all there and on the strip and off the strip. Somebody will have it. It depends on what the boys are doing. Unless you're going to some, a gentleman's club or something, that might not be on in there. But I think everywhere else you'll be able to find it.
Yeah, that's a bit of a different story. Suggesting a Leaf game be on there is a little bit different. But actually, multiple people writing in right now saying just got back from Nashville, and every bar we went to had hockey games on.
I told you, like they're there, they're everywhere.
There you go. I don't know. I just had I guess when I was there, I wasn't even. We went to a Preds game. We went to see Preds Jets actually on the Saturday night we were there. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome building. And listen, the Preds have put down roots in terms of hockey there. And, if it's on ESPN or TNT, like those are massive networks that are on in every bar in America.
That's what I mean. It'll be on there. You just have to find it. That's all. Like you just,
and I guess that applies to everyone, right?
Yep.
Not just Nashville, wherever you happen to be.
Yep.
Tonight's a night. I think it would be different a little bit, again, if the Leafs were up 3-2 and this felt like such a monumental game. Like, it's an important game. It's a big, big, big game. Massive game. But if you had the chance to close, win the series, get to the conference final for the first time in almost 25 years, knock out the champs in Florida, it would be such a different viewing experience. And you're playing with house money a little bit because even if it doesn't work for you, you've got Game 7 at home on Sunday.
Right.
But Marty, listen, we had Marty on. Marty Baron said he kind of has a feeling the Leafs are going to get it done tonight. And, speaking with people and, like I was talking to a buddy this morning, he's like, I've been on both sides of it, where you're up 3-2, down 3-2, you win on the road, you lose on the road, you come home, it's playoff hockey is completely unpredictable.
You can make a case for it. That's the thing. Like, you can make a case for so many different things.
Yep.
That's why you go, okay, yeah, could see them winning. Absolutely. Having a response, big moments, all of that coming on the road. And then a coin flip, Game 7. I think tonight's a coin flip. I don't think, I said it the other day, I felt like there was going to be one game that was going to be, a bigger score. And it was not even, I didn't predict the 6-1. I predicted like 4-2, 3-1, that type of stuff where it wasn't like a one-goal game. I feel like it'll be a one-goal game tonight. I think it'll be a tight game.
That's what it consistently was through the first few games. Even Game 4 was 1-0 into the third, and then it finishes 2-0. And
exactly.
They've all been close. And that's the thing. The nature of Florida is not a run-and-gun, crazy, we're breaking loose type of team.
Yeah.
The other night it was just they waited for something to present itself, and when it did, they pounced. And to their credit, they just kept going and going and going, and the Leafs just had nothing. They had no pushback and no ability to stop it. But you start 0-0 tonight. It's not 6-1. It's 0-0.
Agreed.
All right, best bets still to come, powered by FanDuel. We'll tee up the game of the weekend one more time. We'll do that next. All right, Game 6 tonight. Game 6 tonight, 8 p.m. puck drop, Leafs-Panthers. Beautiful evening here in Toronto. Beautiful, beautiful weather. We got Jays Tigers, Dome open. It's going to be a great night down there at the Rogers Center. And, we got a lot this weekend. We got Game 7, Denver OKC, right? That's going to be big. We've got Game 6 of the Stars and the Jets. We'll see if the Leafs and the Panthers play on Sunday. We got the PGA Championship, which continues. So it's going to be a great weekend. A great, great weekend.
How about these Blue Jay injuries here? This Scherzer, I don't know, man.
Yeah, he's just playing catch, eh? He's just out there throwing the ball around. Just like I have gotten to a point where I'm not sure we see him. I said that almost immediately. I'm not convinced we'll see him pitch again. There is a chance that he just continues to something else. I can't do it, and just works his way through a full year, collects $15 million, and gets out of here. And it's not my money, so it doesn't matter. But it's a lot of money for nothing so far. I mean,
well,
ultimately.
yeah, and it's frustrating because they need him.
They
that's
need
the
help.
thing. They need him.
depth.
They need help. Yes.
They need help. They need help.
Yeah.
They do. They
Yeah.
need depth. They don't have a lot of it. John Schneider was talking about it. He's like, "This is who we got." We're not chock full of depth in this organization. They're not.
It's crazy.
So
Crazy.
they went and got Scherzer, and he's also exciting. Like, again, you're going to the park. Like, that would be a lot of fun to watch Max Scherzer pitch. That's a bucket list item. It's a really cool story. So I'm pulling for him. I'm not really expecting much. Today's best bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. We're going to do this one more time, Noodles. All right?
Yep.
One more, and this is finally it. Austin Matthews, anytime goal scorer. Mitch Marner, 1+ point. William Nylander, 3+ shots on goal. John Tavares, 2+ shots on goal. We're doing a core 4 SGP for Game 6 tonight. That paying plus 630 on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. All right? We're going back to the well one more time. Today's best bets powered by FanDuel. From puck drop to final horn, every Stanley Cup playoff game is available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly. 19+, physically located in Ontario.
Yeah.
All right, Noodles. Well, we'll see.
We'll see how it goes Monday. Like I say, lots of different ways to, it is a busy weekend. Like, that's the thing. And lots of different ways it can go. We'll see. I mean, the wild emotional swings, it certainly has been a ride. We'll see how this weekend plays out. And, and if we keep it going, then we're
take it
rocking
from
on
there.
Monday.
That's all you can do. It's been a fun ride so far, and the playoffs will continue. And
exactly.
You got the Knicks in Boston tonight. The Knicks are trying to close.
Yeah.
So you got that and the energy that's going to come with that. And the Leafs and Panthers, the Leafs and Knicks, both going at it. Back at the same time, 8 p.m. tip-off, 8 p.m. puck drop. And then the PGA Championship all week, the Jays as well. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend. And we can't thank everyone enough for tuning in throughout the week and
it was a good week.
all
the
along the ride. Yes,
be safe this weekend. That's the other thing.
Be safe this
People
weekend. There you
driving
go.
and long weekend, all of that stuff. So.
Yep, for sure. All right, thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, and up on YouTube. Every hour of every show up on YouTube. Don't forget. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy your weekends. We're back Monday at 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.